Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the We Blow Carts podcast. In this exciting episode 4, we're going to be talking about our top 5 licensed PS1 games. So this is games that are based on other people's intellectual properties, movies, TV shows, comics, etc., etc. Things that aren't original video game IPs. And when we say top 5, we don't mean the best games in the world. Like I say, we're just saying these are 5 of our favorite games from that system. And there's probably some we've forgotten about. I mean, since we started talking pre-show, we've thought of others, and some of ours cross, so we have gone 5 each, and we'll take it in turn, one after the other, talking sort of about each of these on our list. So we'll start with you, Alistair. How are you, good sir?
I'm good, mate. You know, playing games, thinking about old things.
That's it. Definitely feel old talking about the PS1. It's nice to be back doing the show. We've had a couple of weeks of not being able to do it because of adult things in life. So it's nice to be jumping back in and doing another show as well. But yeah, we'll start with your list. And the first game on that list is The Italian Job. So what do you do? Why is it on the list, basically?
Well, why is it on the list? Because I played hours of this damn thing. I don't know why. I remember like my dad would like watch this movie and like got me into watching it a lot. So like when it came and this film, the original, came out in like the 1960s.
Oh, it's amazing though. I love The Italian Job. Honestly, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I have such a boner for The Italian Job. I have always wanted a mini because of that film. I love it. And
1969.
Amazing in that sense. 69, you see what I mean? But it still is good. It's such a good film.
It's such a good film, but a strange one to choose for a licensed video game in the 90s.
And you've got to also remember, right, they then ported it to PC like a year after this came out on PlayStation, if I remember correctly. Now, the PC version is... It's the exact same game. Nothing has changed apart from all of the graphics look better. Like all the textures and the cars look so much better. But the core gameplay is identical because I own them both. I have played this game, like I say,
there's little moments in this like little trailer bit that we've got here that you can see, and where like you could just, because this is what happens in the game. Like if you hit a pedestrian straight on, they just clip and just go horizontal and just shoot to the other side of the world. It's so great. It's super hard to pull off because they rub a band around your vehicle. They actually like just bounce around it. They don't actually collide with it, but you can trick on certain animation frames. Like you can just go straight into them and they just go horizontal and they go ping straight off into the distance.
It's not so like GTA good. Where you can like mow people down.
Yeah, you can't hit
people. They
literally
try and avoid you, don't they? It's amazing.
Yeah, they're like there's a bubble around your car that like knocks people away, and it just like skirts them around them. So it's always like a slight miss, but it's the game's so good. Like it's just straight up like just.
It's a very good adaptation of it as well, doesn't it? It does the full story from the start to the finish, literally.
Yeah, like literally, like every like major like anything with a car. Which is actually not that much of the movie, but it has like puts in like it obviously has the Italian bit here, and it actually has the tube as it ends in the tunnel at the end of it, and then it goes onto the out section, and then previously it goes through. I want to say it's it has a London setting, like right here. It's going down towards the tunnels.
Yeah, you go up the sports stadium over the roof.
There, you got to pause. You literally have I don't even think this does. Oh, you don't get to park. I could have sworn you actually had to park somewhere.
There's many missions, and basically, some of them there's a lot of chaff missions, like just picking people up, doing this, doing that.
Yeah, you had to put your crew together.
You unlock the cars as you went along, so you could get that, like, was it the Pakistani ambassador's car from the beginning of the film with the little flags?
Yes. And the actual Jags. You actually got the Jags they were meant to drive, and they were awesome to drive. It was so good.
This bit is amazing. Like you've got like a time limit to do the thing. You've got to keep in time with the people, and then you've got to follow it. And it's basically the escape at the end of the film, or after the heist. It's not right at the end of the film, but this is the best level in the game. I absolutely think it's fantastic, and there's also free roam mode. So you got the extra areas like London and Italy. I'm not sure if you got free roam on the Alps, but I know the two cities you got free roam mode, and you could just drive around with whatever car you wanted.
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
could
the Alps
literally
was just
do
like
this
the one
level
track.
because this is which is crazy. Like you think that this is a full city, open world city that you're playing on this one level, and you could recreate this. Because I used to do this over and over again on my own because I just didn't want to keep replaying the level with a time limit and stuff. But yeah, so good. I hated the Alps missions though when you had to get the car up on the bus.
Yeah, because you had to get the speed just right. Because if you overshot it, it would veer you off, and if you were too slow, it gives you tons of problems. I remember this bit in the river being absolute pain in my ass because like you would actually
hit
have to
it
fight.
Just wrong.
Yeah, you had to fight the water, and if you didn't actually hit it with enough speed, you just go careening off into the distance.
And I'm sure as well, when the police cars here are ramming you to damage, I'm sure they read your license plate when they get close and it gets low. I think it's under the text on the screen here in the bottom left corner. It reads your license plate the closer they get. So when they get your full license plate, that's you busted basically. So you had to get away.
I can't remember that.
Yeah,
that might be a thing.
That's how the police caught you. But really cool. The character models are shocking. Like they look like someone they couldn't get the license to all the people in it, so they just sort of smeared butter on some.
When you have like 256 tries to work with, you ain't gonna really create the Michael Caine experience, are you now?
No, but they don't look anything like the characters in the game. It's not the right voice actors, although they have got people doing like really cheesy Cockney accents, which make it all that much better.
Yeah.
But like I say, yeah, it's such. And this bit used to be a right pain. If you clip that, if you clip the sewer walls, you were done basically.
Yeah, it was super. You had to be super coordinated in that tunnel section. I remember that tunnel section being such a pain.
And I loved the menus as well, where it was like it would play like on the projector and stuff like that. Like what was happening. I thought that was really good. So if you've never played that, you're literally missing out because it is awesome.
I would say it's a hidden gem within the system. Like, I want to go like must play better than Gran Turismo or like anything like that. It is
better than Gran Turismo. I will put my hand up and say it's better than Gran Turismo. It's more fun.
I mean, anything's better than Gran Turismo. Barbie Racing is better than Gran Turismo. It's got more releases.
But it's just a bit. It's one of those games that I don't think enough people realize and know about. So I highly recommend people check it out if they can.
It's an obscure game for an obscure movie, but it's just like it's so incorporative. Like it's so encapsulates that time of like PlayStation 1ness of just like we don't know what to do, so we're just gonna do what we want. It's kind of like got the same energy of like when like Rockstar did The Warriors. You know, like
it's just like why?
Why did you choose this super obscure movie that no one's seen and not like no current audience is wanting? Because we want to. Fine. Get it under the deadline, hit it under a budget, we'll release it. And they did, and it was really good. I love it.
But like I say, if you haven't got a PlayStation, it's super cheap. It's like a £1 game on PC. Get it on PC and play it. It's really fun.
Dude, is it on Steam?
No, I don't think so. It's one of those games that's sort of been lost to time, I feel. But you can get it on eBay cheap or other websites. I'm sure you can find it. Do you know what I mean? So we'll jump on to the next game, one of mine. We talked about this on I think the last show, so I'm not going to go into it too much. Spider-Man. So we made two of them. There was Spider-Man, and then there was Spider-Man into Electro. I prefer number one. I think it is the better for like fan service and stuff. it made sense with the limitations. Obviously, you had the green gas of doom where you couldn't go lower down the building because you'd choke and die. Whereas in the second one, they didn't have that. It was a bit more open, but it also felt more limited because of that, in my opinion. Because the first one was more like
the first one just was like better advertised. Like I actually because I had the first one, I never had the second one, but like I just remember like everybody was playing the first one. And I like afterwards, I never heard like because we had like PlayStation Magazine and like you never saw an article about like Spider-Man 2. Like I never really saw it. Ooh.
I'm back. I don't know what happened there. I'm having one of those days with computers, mate. I'm having one of those days with computers. Sorry, everyone.
Just blame the wind, man.
That's it, yeah.
Wind's horrendous around here.
Oh, man, my internet is absolutely terrible. So I'm going to put my camera off again because, like, it uses left bandwidth when I'm not on my camera. And, like, we've got internet that the cable goes above ground outside the house, like from a telephone cable. So when it's windy, oh my God, it just does what it wants. I can't wait to get like better fiber. I'm on like fiber to the cabinet and then copper to the house. I cannot wait to get full fiber, like fiber to the property. Because I
think our street's like full fiber. I think like for some bizarre reason, like we were like one of the first in the Bentley area to get fiber. So like, I won't say we've got the best internet, but we've got good internet.
Yeah, exactly.
I can have my kids on their devices and be on my Xbox and not have a bad time.
Like mine's normally not too bad, but when we're currently getting bombarded by a massive storm, when we've got another one coming in a couple of days, I believe, after it. Yeah. So they're lining up to batter England at the moment. So gutting.
Just bending over and getting rogered by the weather. It's the good British way, isn't it?
But I did enjoy the second one, but I felt the characters, like it had a better villain roster in the first one. I felt like you had Venom, Carnage, you had Doc Ock and stuff, whereas the second one it was like Electro, Sandman, and Hammerhead and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like they weren't as cool as Carnage and Venom and stuff. So I think that helped.
Sure, like Shocker was also in the first one as well, because I remember having a chase scene with him.
It might have been. There was no Shocker was the second one. There was
was it?
Scorpion was in the first one. I think there was a load of them.
Yeah, you're right. Level 5. It was in. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like the first one was a better game. They're both really good. If you love Spider-Man, you love like comic book films, games, should I say, and you want games that have a lot of fan service, those games are full of it. I mean, they had loads of characters. They even had all like there was nods to Fantastic Four, like Johnny Storm was in it and stuff. The Spider-Man voice actor did a fantastic job. It was very tongue-in-cheek, very sort of fourth wall breaking. Stan Lee narrated bits in it. It was such a good game, and I mean it's not aged particularly well, but it's still really fun. And
couldn't you just find Stan Lee?
I may have been able to. It's been a long time. I just remember having to find all those comic books and going in all the secret areas and stuff like that.
Yeah, and get the costumes to get like
the
Bagman
costume. Oh, Bagman! Yeah. Yes.
No, Armored Spider-Man was a power-up.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure that was a power-up, and
it may have been, but I do remember there was
the
Bagman was the costume I wanted all the time. And if you don't know what Bagman is, basically in one of the comics, Spider-Man forgets his washing or something. Yeah, he does laundry and forgets it. Laundry. So he borrows a Fantastic Four uniform and puts a paper bag on his head. That's all you need to know about that. Get that, and they put it in a game, and that's what the PS5 and 4 games are missing. Amazing Bagman costumes, honestly. And you had Ben Reilly. You had the Ben Reilly costumes and stuff, like the clone. It was really, really good.
Yeah, it's fun how they like would always like touch on the clone saga and never actually do it. It was so fun. It was
Yeah.
it was the best. It was the best choice they've ever made.
Do you think we'll ever get a clones off topic for games? But do you think they'll ever do a clone saga in the movies? I don't think they would,
no.
but
God,
they
no.
should. It was so bad. It was amazingly bad.
I mean, it'd be proper funny just to see like Tom Holland talking to Tom Holland, but they'll
No,
never
they
do
don't
it.
even look like each other. That's the thing. The
Yeah,
clone doesn't look like Peter Parker. It's just
that'd be so.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Isn't it because like he had blonde hair? I'm pretty
Something
sure
like
that
that.
was like,
Yeah, he had
Ben
like longer
Radley
blonde
had
hair.
like had blonde hair, and then there's the third clone, the actual villain clone.
Oh, I gave up trying to figure it out. To be fair,
Everybody did. Everybody gave up on the Clone Saga. No one followed that thing all the way through. If they did, they're lying.
I just liked his like blue hoodie outfit. I think that was a cool Spider-Man outfit.
It was, and like they always get like every Spider-Man game as like it's always rated on whether or not they have it in and how good it is. It's whereas an actual criteria on someone's like checklist somewhere of like, does it have the hoodie in? Is the hoodie looking decent? If not, bad game. If it doesn't, but yeah, I really enjoy like the PS1 Spider-Man games. Just in both, well, the first one because that's one I directly remember playing. But like, they're just like at the time, it's just like yeah, you felt like Spider-Man playing it. It felt right within the limitations of the console. It felt better than the limitations in some cases because like you still had that open world aspect to the like open plan aspect to the levels. Like there were hidden areas, there were secret fighting areas. There was always like tons of collectibles to get, so you're always rewarded for exploring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it was like made you really feel good playing it.
Yeah, and it was never a chore, really, was it? It was never too hard. There was some difficult sections, but it was never like frustratingly bad. And it was one of those games you could 100% get all the collectibles and enjoy, basically.
Yeah, like I remember, I distinctly remember like the final boss fight because it's not a boss fight; it's a chase scene, and it's where like spoiler, Doc Ock and Carnage converge into a mega death octopus or whatever they call it. I forget, but like it starts chasing you, and it's you escaping this underwater base, and that just as a child scaring me to death, and being unable to know what to do, and then like within like 2 tries, I was able to like do it within 2 seconds because it's literally like zip forward, zip left, zip forward, zip right, zip up, you're out. That's it. That's the whole level. It's super quick, but like I would just remember like, at the like first getting there and just go like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, proper good. It's proper fun playing that game.
I want to go back and play them all now. I'm getting so nostalgic recently. Like I said, I've been keep getting stuff. Do you know what? Like, I've just realised a licensed game. I literally sent you a picture of yesterday that we could have been talking about in this show.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, it's not a licensed game. I checked it. It's not actually licensed. It was a game first.
Was it? Oh right. Well then, yeah, we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, because I was like checking like 5 minutes before the show. It's just like, oh, was this an actual like? Did the TV show come out before the game? It's like no, actually the game came out first, and they tied it in. Like did the whole like promotional thing of like making a TV show and at the same time.
Yeah, you are 100% correct. We're on about Monster, aren't you? If people are wondering, but
god damn,
apparently that was a game before anime, and I always thought it was an anime before a game. So we've learned something new this week.
Yeah, that anime was so off from what the game was. We'll talk about that another day.
Oh, right. We'll jump on to another one then. Your next one up is Micro Machines.
Oh, yeah. I actually... Micro Machines, I mean, it's just the best... It's the best party racing game of all time. Like, it legit is. I'm pretty sure we don't have footage of it. That's why we're not having video up at the moment, but...
Yeah, I must say, I've only got a few games worth of footage, so I apologize.
No, it's all right. I was just like, wait, Ash doesn't say anything. Is the wind acting up again? Like I remember like playing Micro Machines. I mean, like the thing that I always remember the most about it is the fact like the menu screen itself is a track. Like it's isometric racing game, so you're not you're not from behind the vehicle. You're actually an isometric angle or a 30-degree angle, like a CRPG basically. And the track, all the menus are like offices that you can drive up to, and then from there you can make your choices of whether, and you still play as the car to make these choices. Like you go into like the option menu and you'll like stop at a checkpoint and it'll say like, do you want to go to the music building or like the volume building, and you'll go there and you can change it there, and then you'll drive back to go to like the actual start the race. Oh, it's so crazy. It's so bizarre, that menu system, but yet so addictive.
Yeah.
It was so straightforward. And it was really snappy. So it was like, it's just like a nice little like extra bit of flourish that they totally did not need to do. It was so nice. And then like the game itself, it like had the vehicle, like because you had basic vehicles, land vehicles, you had hovercraft, boats, and amphibious vehicles. I don't think they had the planes. I think that came later in the series.
Yeah, I think that was like the sequel, wasn't it? I think they got the amphibious vehicles, but yeah, I remember playing Micro Machines on the Mega Drive, and then the PS1. It was just better.
And you did have hovercraft, because I do remember that you had like tracks that you could go like on water onto land seamlessly. So they did have hovercraft, and like the planes I just don't think they had yet. I think they came later on, either in the sequel of the PlayStation 1 or in the PlayStation 2 era. I can't remember. But to be fair, the best vehicle that we ever found was the tank, because you could turn the turret around and blast yourself forward and you get so much speed. It was so ridiculous. But it worked on a different system as well, because it wasn't a race. You never raced each other. It was whoever could get the furthest in front.
Ahead. Yeah, so if you fell behind, you got stuck, you were out. So
yeah, you just got obliterated.
You took a shortcut and you'd proper mess people up. Yeah, fantastic game.
Yeah, it was like legit. Like as a party game, it's absolutely fantastic, because it's not like, it's just so fast paced. If you got like the tracks were all drawn onto like I remember like they used to have like the pool tables, and the track was drawn on by chalk, so you had to stay within the chalk lines. And if you didn't stay in the chalk lines, you'd blow up. And if you blew up and you were too far behind, you'd just blow up and you were out the race. So like the tension in those races was high. It was ridiculous.
It was really good, and really good for multiplayer.
It was. You could literally just slap that on. It was literally like how Mario Kart is perceived now. Like you could just slap it on at any party, and everyone would just be like, "Oh, I get what's going on. I can play this game," and then just get owned by the one person who does know how to play that game.
Aye. And right, we've got a special video now from a guest. Do you want to introduce it quickly?
Yeah, this is Dave from the Pod of Warcast. He's a good friend of mine, and I invited him to share his top 5 with us. So we'll play the video now.
Yeah, give me a second.
It's Dave from the Pod of War podcast, and I'm here on this random podcast that Al's invited me on to talk about my 5 licensed PS1 games. So, PS1 had loads of licensed games. It was just that era for stuff. And I'm making my own little rule. I'm not having like sport games. So there'll be no LMA Manager. There'll be no FIFA. There'll be no Tony Hawk's. So here was 5 licensed PS1 games that I liked. At number 5, I've gone for 007 The World Is Not Enough, which is a James Bond game. It's a first-person shooter. It's kind of like all those James Bond games. It was very gadgety and kind of stealthy. It's not as good as GoldenEye, but on the PS1, I think it's my favorite one. And it's just fun being Pierce Brosnan, wandering around the movie. Next up, we've got Disney's Hercules, which was a 2.5D platformer based on the Disney film Hercules. And it was cool. It had like a 2.5D 3D environment, but like sprite-based characters, which was pretty fun. I think it had all of the voice actors from the movie. I feel like there was either a very good sound-alike for Danny DeVito, or it was Danny DeVito. And it was just a fun game. It was that era where platformers were still pretty fun, they were still pretty common, and it was a fun movie. I was a kid, so is what it is. In the same vein, number 3, Toy Story 2, which is a really strange game because it's loosely based on the film, but it's kind of like a third-person open-world adventure game, which is very strange, but it was a good time. It's fun to play as Buzz, it's fun to shoot your laser and jump around, and that's what it was. Number 2, we've got Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. So this one isn't based on like a direct film or cartoon, it's just a Bugs Bunny game, but it was a third-person 3D platformer, like kind of Mario 64, kind of Banjo-Kazooie. You went to different time periods, you got collectibles, you got to the end of the level, and you jumped through time. But it was fun. It was there was a sequel that wasn't quite as good. I think that had Taz in it. It had a quite cool kind of like low poly art style, which was kind of fun, that holds up. But it's one of those games I played as a kid and I loved. If I played it now, I'd probably hate it. It's probably terrible, but then it was fun. And my number 1 is Spider-Man, which I think was made by Neversoft. I'm pretty sure it was made by Neversoft. It was kind of the first superhero game where you felt like the superhero for me. Obviously, I didn't have an N64, so I didn't have Superman 64, but Spider-Man was cool. I think it was voice acted. It had a lot of voices from the cartoon that was on at the time. It was just fun. It felt good to swing around. The combat was pretty good for the time. It was pretty intuitive. The levels were pretty diverse. The side quests were pretty good, and it was one of those weird, like, early open world-ish games. I don't remember if it was as open world as the sequel that was on PS2, but Spider-Man by Neversoft is a great game. So there is a very quick, very concise 5 PS1 licensed games. Thank you to Al for getting me on the podcast, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
All right, next up on the list is Harry Potter. And this technically can be either Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone / Sorcerer's Stone if you're not speaking the Queen's English, and the Chamber of Secrets, because they both were very, 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 very similar. So definitely check these out if you haven't. They're so bad they're good. It's basically based on the obviously very classic book series and films. And the films, I think, had started to come out at this time, and they decided, you know what, we're not going to use the likenesses of any of the cast. We're going to do our own style. Do you know what I mean? And this is the monstrosity that we got. But I have 100%ed the first game and the second game. Is it the first one or the second one where you collect the cards with the wizarding cards, but on one of the games you can literally not 100% the game if you do not do one thing on a certain level because you can't go back, which is crazy if I remember rightly, and it was so frustrating never being able to get the 100%. I had to replay the game to get it. So
sounds like that'd be number 1 because it's only in the first film they talk about the wizarding cards.
I think they were still in number 2, but I do think it was number 1, yeah. But I'd really like the game itself. Like, it starts off and it's got like this book narrated cutscene. I think was really cool. It kind of like rushes through the first few chapters of the book, the sort of to get you there, and then suddenly you start in Hogwarts, and you are greeted by Dumbledore.
Don't get to play as bullied Harry.
No, you just.
Don't get to play out the childhood dream of being shoved in a closet.
No, you don't get any of that. You just basically end up at Hogwarts, and you'll see in a minute you're greeted by what can only be described as Albus Dumbledore if he was being played by Clayface in the Batman animated TV series, and he was like fucked up.
All I remember is like the Hagrid. And
the Hagrid is just as good.
Just dodgy he looked.
Are you ready? Look at this
one.
Oh
my god, yeah. That really is nothing like the actor they had for the first Dumbledore.
No.
You're right. It's their own interpretation.
But the game is good. Like I say, you've got like a semi-open world Hogwarts where you can run around and interact with things and go to lessons, and you basically learn new spells in each of the lessons, which then you end up. It's weird because I don't ever remember in the films or the books where like they do a lesson and they're like, right, go in this dungeon and get out the other end using this spell. I'll see you at the end. But that's what they do in the game.
I mean, the third book, they technically do that, but not really.
Yeah, nothing like this. They've stretched it. I must say they've took a lot of liberties, but it's still fun. It looks horrendous. It's got janky sort of jumping controls. Yeah, like
it's got a good warping, good texture warp.
Oh, it was terrible, but it's so good at the same time. I've played this loads. If I ever go back on my PS1, it's one of the games I will always pick up to play.
Oh no, this totally is trying to replicate like the movie because of the painting in the back. That is the last they actually got in the first movie.
But then they put stuff in from the books as well.
Like, and they put stuff in the books. Because of course they would.
It's so weird. It's weird, but it's fantastic. And yeah, you run around collecting Bertie Bott's every favourite beans that are all over this castle. It's like you think they clean up.
Oh god, I got force fed them the other day. They were awful.
yeah, the real ones are nasty. But this game, there you go. Look, he's got his wizarding card. Who is it? Who's he got?
Oh, sick! He's got blue eyes, white Dumbledore.
That's it. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense.
Yeah. Red eyes, surface black.
But don't all of the graphics, they've got like this weird sort of, they look like they're wobbling all the time. I don't know what it is, but that's just how the game was. It doesn't look good. But I massively enjoyed it, and I would always go back to it over and over again. It is a game that everyone should play. And like I said, they did make a different version for PC, and then that got sort of remade on the PS2. So there's loads of different versions of the first two Harry Potter games.
Who the hell developed these first? Because I know it's not EA.
EA, it is EA.
Yeah,
the first two were EA.
Yeah, you're right. Oh god, they really are the trash heap fire of the industry.
Yeah, but they sold so many. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, man.
So
it's hot property.
Yeah, you've got to try them though. Funny, none of the voice actors sound quite right. None of them look quite right. I mean, I don't know what's up with Ron's face, and the Hagrid is
special.
I'm skip ahead, see if I can. Let's have a gander. Oh, it's amazing! Look at it though. Like do you remember these from classic Harry Potters?
I know Harry has to. If I actually played this when I was back when, because I never did. I actually completely skipped like the Harry Potter franchise until I was much older. So yeah, like just like watching this, like if I had played this as a kid and been into it, like yeah, this would have been right up. I would have been like you would have put 100% of this. I would have absolutely.
Yeah. It's just a platformer. It's literally a platforming game, but yeah, it's very odd. Like, do you remember this scene where Harry's sliding around Gringotts? Because I don't.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who doesn't? Were you not high when you first watched Harry Potter?
Oh, really? There you go. When he collected enough pieces of paper, the door opened, because that makes 100% sense. But it's such a good little game.
Logic. You got to collect stuff to open doors.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll move on to the next one now. This one I know you are a very big fan of. Jurassic Park Warpath.
Oh yeah, because it's so violent.
Explain what it is for the listeners.
So Jurassic Park Warpath was a 3D fighting game, likes of Tekken and Virtual Fighter, but more like what's it called? Primal Rage? Yeah, Primal Rage. In which you played as dinosaurs and you got to fight each other within various locations. It took place on the back of the second movie, Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic World. So you actually had like the San Diego set, because you actually could blow up the gas station, and you could fight on the boat, if I remember correctly. You could actually have a fight on the ship.
I believe so. It featured things from the first two games. I remember that.
Yeah, you had like the enclosures, you had like the electrical fence, you had a bunch of other set pieces. I don't think, I think you did have the entrance of like the main the main building and the entrance there, like the main like dome structure. You got to fight in that, but like what was what was really great about the game is because you got to play as these dinosaurs, and no matter if you're like a carnivore or a herbivore, there would be random people walking around, and you just eat them for health, and it was badass because it was really it actually had like I don't think it had an 18 rating, but blood was everywhere in that game. Oh my god! Like you jump on each other and just go like absolutely tear into one another, and just blood would fly everywhere on the screen. It was so violent. I don't know how they got away with it because I'm pretty sure it didn't actually have an 18 rating on it. It was like,
I just remember this being janky. I don't remember
oh,
it being
it's
that
so
good.
janky, but it actually wasn't that bad considering of the time it came out. I mean, I think it just came out on the heels of like Tekken 3, so like. Okay, Tekken 3, one of the best fighting games of all time of that era.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Only like decades later would like a Third Strike actually be recognized as the greatest of that era, but at the time it was Tekken 3 and no one argued with you. It just was. But
Tekken 3. Oh.
Jurassic Park just had so much fun and jank in it. It was busted as hell, but it was so much fun. It was just a straightforward fighting game. There was nothing like it was just like versus match, going to just go and kill each other, and that was it. Like, didn't even have much of a story because there's not much of a story to tell about dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. So there was 8 dinosaurs to start with, including such classics as the T-Rex, Gigantosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Stygimoloch, Styracosaurus, and then there were 6 extra dinosaurs to unlock, and each dinosaur had its own map, if I remember, like a stage, which was cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they had like the T-Rex enclosure from Jurassic Park, the deck of the ship from the sequel. You are correct.
Yes.
And some of the environments were destructible.
Yes.
There would be like animals and humans running around. If you ate them, you got your health back, which I thought was funny. You would like eat them. I don't remember there was any plot to it.
I'm pretty sure you could also get your health back from like because you could like you could basically if you get someone prone, you could actually jump on them and then attack them, and by attacking them while they're on the ground also give you health.
I believe so. With some dinosaurs, yeah. It was a bit janky because you could just literally knock people down, eat them, and
you just go for just go for a sweep, and you would go for a jumping tackle into a grab on the floor, and you just eat them, and that would be the match. It was so broken. Yeah, it was great though. It's just so much. It was just dumb fun. Like again, it's just of that time. It's just like the PlayStation 1 just could get away with such dumb ass broken without any care whatsoever to it because it's like I think this like just after like Trespasser as well, so it's just like Trespasser, which like infamously now is considered to be like a bad/good game because you get to look at your breasts for health, but on the reverse side it's actually an okay shooting game.
It's not. It was like a really awesome open world game, but you had like these weird arms. You look like bloody Cookie Monster or something with weird not Cookie Monster, Mr. Tickle with the weird gangly arms, and you held your gun like all over the place.
It went for that whole body thing that like it's like a huge like no within like first person shooters.
But at the time it was sort of like the first and worst.
Yeah, and plus like it was like at the time where like first person shooters weren't like honed in completely yet, like to the point that they got in like later, like within the decade after. Like I think didn't Trespasser come out at the same time as like Half-Life?
Oh, probably. However, I did read that there is a group of people who have been modding Trespasser, and it's now a very playable and good game. Because they've spent all this time fixing all the issues that should have been fixed originally.
Probably. It's the best thing about like PC old games is like someone's out there modding something for a game. There's always somebody modding something for them. It's great. But yeah, back to Warpath. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Like you could play as the armored motherfucker. The armored dinosaur on 4 legs. Like you can play as like a stegosaur. yeah, like a Triceratops. You could play as a Triceratops versus like a T-Rex, and it was just so dumb. It was just so stupid, but it was so much fun at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
For like a licensed game at the time, like it was pretty like you can't say like, oh yeah, there was many like licensed fighting games back then, because there just weren't. But,
no, you are right. You are right.
and like when it came to like Jurassic Park, like you really like, come on, you wanted to play as the dinosaur. You wanted to play that experience.
It was better than the Lost World video game. I give it that. That was dog. So it was one of the better one of the better Jurassic Park games out.
Yeah.
So it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
I must admit, I give it credit.
You had fun playing it. It was fun when we played it.
I'm not gonna lie. But it got janky when you did that like ultimate combo. It was just broke.
Yeah, you just will go into rage mode. You get like max damage. You take like you get a ton of armor and everything. It's just so dumb. It's just so stupid.
Oh, right. We'll move on to the next game. Which one should we do? Go on. We'll do
one of yours.
Do this one, which is Jedi Power Battles. Star Wars Jedi Power Battles.
Talk about this game a lot. We bring this game up like every episode.
Yeah.
One day we'll do just a whole episode just dedicated to this. I like do some research and I talk about like how George Lucas like had a huge influence or not on this game or something dumb like that. Oh, yeah. This game's so good. Again, but is it? But
it was fun. We put hours into it.
We put a lot of hours into this game. I put a lot of hours into this game for sure. And yeah, like we would come around and like either to like your house or my house, and we'd like be playing like our own like save files of it. Oh yeah, it was just a good beat 'em up. Like it's just like really good, simple, straightforward, just beat 'em up game.
And you got Plo Koon with his yellow lightsaber, who was awesome back then.
Yeah,
this came out before they did the dirty and killed him really lamely in the movies. Like, and you were always like, and he had that cool like spin around attack, the whirlwind, so everyone wanted to play as Plo Koon. It was great.
He didn't. He didn't have he didn't have that. He had the armor.
I don't know. I thought he had the spin attack.
No, he had the burn attack. His
had
whole
something
body
cool.
Yeah, his whole body would get covered in. Basically, he would just like have this huge like flame effect on him, and he'd just run around and he could just burn everything.
Yeah, I knew he had something cool, but it was funny. I must admit,
it was. I want to say it was Mace Windu who had the spin attack, where the blade would actually spin around him. I think it was him because I think like Qui-Gon Jinn had like the Force blast. There's this huge Quaker like area effect blast. And I can't remember what Obi-Wan did or what the last did. I think the last healed. I think she was really lame and just had a heal attack.
It was so weird though, because it was like a co-op platformer mixed with sort of like fighting game where you collected combo points doing like combos when killing multiple enemies and destroying things and stuff, and it loosely followed the plots of the films but then didn't, but then it had extra characters who weren't actually in the films like properly in those roles. So like they started off and it was literally you were Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan if you played them, where they land in the first of episode 1 on that spaceship and the little droid comes in and they try and poison him and then you fight the way out. And then it just goes on from there. You end up on Naboo and stuff, but you could just literally randomize it with other people, and it was so fun as a co-op game. There were some janky jumping sections, but
it weren't polished. It weren't particularly like groundbreaking, but like what it was is like because it was a simple beat 'em up, aka like Streets of Rage or like Final Fight, but in Star Wars, and it had platforming just because it was a 3D developed game, so they could get away with it. It was kind of like just like the evolution of like what like Super Star Wars was.
Yeah,
like actually thinking about it now, like that's what it actually feels like. It feels like a more like an evolution of like how like Super Star Wars like felt, even though Super Star Wars was like a hugely broken game. In which like Darth Vader turned into a bug. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you, though.
What?
No cream egg.
Go on. Yeah.
Buy the cream egg.
Yeah, you can have a cream egg, mate.
Cream eggs for everyone. Like, subscribe if you're enjoying the channel.
If you want a cream egg.
If you want a cream egg, like and subscribe. Check out our Patreon. It's going across the bottom of the screen. It's £1, and you get like exclusive Patreon videos early. It helps us grow the channel and stuff like that. Always cool little stuff. And also check out our website, www.xplpartypodcast.com, for daily gaming news and reviews. Put that little bit of advertising in there, Alistair. How do you think that? Slid it in.
Oh, so smooth.
Oh. But yeah, we'll move on to the next game, because otherwise we're going to run out of time. The next game on our list is Toy Story 2. This is another game we've spoken about previously.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Dave talked about it in his little. He was like his number 2 or 3. I was paying attention, I swear.
Yeah, so we're not going to go into this one too much in detail, because you all know how good Toy Story 2 is as a kids movie tie-in based platform. That is also fantastic for adults. And I've just thought of one, Rugrats. I haven't put Rugrats on my list, and that was ace. So apologies for any Rugrats fan there. It's not on this list, and maybe it should be, but hey, we've got Toy Story 2. Really good game. Took a lot of levels based on the films. You played as Buzz in third person, but you could also like go into first person and shoot things, and really cool. One of the best tie-in games, I think, for a film on the PS1 in that period anyway. Do you agree?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, my voice is going. No. We've been talking for longer than you realise, listeners.
Yeah. So, this episode, for anyone watching, has been a bit of a nightmare to record tonight. I've had internet issues. We've had to restart at the beginning. There's lots of edits had to go into it to make it work. So thank you for taking us out and watching along. It means a lot. Hit that like button. Leave some comments what your favourite PS1 games are, and we'll reply to them, obviously, once this video goes live on YouTube, and then also on sort of Spotify and other podcasting services. Now, next one on the list. We're getting close to the end now, Alistair. We're coming up. This one's got a video, so you ready?
What's this? What's it gonna be?
It's Muppet Race Mania.
Oh yeah.
Now, this is a driving game, obviously based on the Muppets series, and it basically covers like all of the properties at the time. So it was made by Midway and Traveller's Tales, of sort of Lego games of current sort of systems. Everyone remembers Traveller's Tales as the Lego company, but back then they made a lot of racing games. They made the Toy Story Racer on PlayStation, but this one I believe came out afterwards, and it was sort of like a better version of that. It had the same sort of control scheme, but they sort of improved on the overall game. So in this game, you could control 25 different racers, Muppets, on a total of 34 different tracks. So there was a lot of content, and all of the sort of Muppet performers recorded vocal stuff just for this game as well. So if you're a Muppets fan, this is like the bee's knees. Like I say, you're getting sort of like premier sort of Muppet gameplay here. The story mode was sort of based on it took place over all of the movies. So you had the Muppet Movie, The Great Muppet Caper, Muppets Take Manhattan, Christmas Carol, Treasure Island, and Muppets from Space. And then in between these like races and stuff, there was like clips of the films, which I thought was really cool. I always loved watching all the clips, and you could go back and watch them later on as well. So each film, there's 4 tracks based on each film, and then there was 10 extra hidden tracks which have stuff like the Muppet Theatre, Fraggle Rock, and stuff like that. And it plays very similar to like Mario Kart, but you collect like fruit, as you can see on the screen, to sort of power up.
Yeah.
And you do a special ability, and then you have weapons which were like chickens and stuff like that, and penguins, and that you threw at each other. But yeah, I really liked it. And one thing I did like was every character could use every other character's car. So you didn't just have to have Kermit in Kermit's car. You could be like, I'm gonna have Kermit's car in Gonzo's whatever he had. I think he had a spaceship. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I remember playing the demo of this. I think we played like once or twice when we went like around at yours. I remember it being very like, obviously like for like when we were playing it, it was very, very fun game. Like the levels never felt like they were like too overly complicated in terms of tracks. Like it was very generous on like its rewards. The racing didn't seem to be too unbalanced. Like the AI weren't too aggressive, not like too easy.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a bit. The controls were a bit
stiff. I want to say I feel we remember them being stiff. Or
I think it was to do with that.
weird.
It wasn't just the controls. I think the camera was a bit iffy with the way it was set up.
Yeah.
So you end up like doing these stupidly tight turns, and then the camera wasn't keeping up, so you couldn't really see where you were going at some points, which didn't help.
Yeah.
But there was loads of secret shortcuts to be found on the levels, and then there wasn't just racing. There was like races, there was battles, there was also stunt ones, which is like you had to like get to the end of a course, basically, kind of like trials and stuff like that. You know, like the trials games, similar to that, but a bit less crazy. So, and then after you finish the game, you got end levels, which is like it was in a top down instead of like behind the camera, which I thought was cool. And there was also like boss races, so you could get boss characters, but you couldn't unlock them in the game, which sucked. But there was like special boss enemies you fought as well, which I thought was cool.
Cool. What, did you fight like Tim Curry at some point?
No, I wish. No, it was apparently it's been a long time since I've played it. There was Sweetums, Beauregard, Bill, Gil and Jill, Statler and Waldorf as Jacob and Robert Marley, the Pig Chief from Treasure Island, and Dr. Phil Van Nooter. I remember Phil Van Nooter and the Pig Chief for definite. But they had all the proper voices. Even Frank Oz was in it. And this was the first game that had characters from The Muppet Show in it as well. So, not The Muppet Show, The Muppet Show and Muppets Tonight, which was like that late night one.
Yeah.
And apparently the music was composed by the people who made the Furchester Hotel music. So, fun fact for everyone, according to Wikipedia.
I say, wouldn't it just be like the in-house crew that they always use?
Apparently not.
Oh, okay. I thought there would be, because it's like if they're going to get like Frank Oz and everybody else involved, it's going to be just.
Yeah, no, apparently the people, Andy Blythe and Martin Justra, they did the music for this game. They served as composers for Sesame Street, they served as the main composers for the Sesame Street co-production for Chester Hotel. So they've only done their two things, but there you go, Muppet fans. There's some news for you. Look at that; it all comes together. But yes, we'll keep going. I love this game, and like I say, anyone who likes like the Muppets, I think they would very much.
Yeah, I can't remember why I didn't get this as a child. I remember, like I said, I remember playing the demo and really liking it.
It wasn't very popular. I don't think it was like well known. It's one of those those licensed games that we didn't really get over here. I think I only got it because I had a copy of it. To be fair, I don't think I ever saw it in a shop over in the UK.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't remember seeing it in a store or like seeing it like secondhand when like we would get into like the secondhand market. It was always, like I say, I had the demo, but just never saw the disc anywhere.
No, exactly. I remember playing the demo and being in love with it, so I got it, and yeah really fun, really, really fun. Right, 2 to go. So second to last, obviously Tony Hawk's 2.
Yep. That's yours.
Yeah, you can't really say much about Tony Hawk's 2 other than it's the best skateboarding game of that generation. Of the 3 Tony Hawks on PlayStation, Tony Hawk's 2 has the best soundtrack, the best levels, the best characters, and it was just a huge step up from Tony Hawk's 1, which was good in its own right, but Tony Hawk's 2 took it to the next level. And then Tony Hawk's 3 was just I felt Tony Hawk's 3 just retreaded Tony Hawk's 2. So,
Ooh, like I say, I didn't have the Tony Hawk's games because like you had them, so
yeah,
it was a case just like I don't need to. I'll just play it when I'm at yours. So like, I'll only go off your word on this one. Like I remember like having the demo for like Tony Hawk's 1 and being like, okay, this seems cool, and then like going to yours and like you show me like Tony Hawk's 2 and be like, oh, this seems rad. This seems actually cool.
yeah, yeah. They fixed a lot of things. It added, you could like manual properly and reverb off the half pipes and stuff. So you could like come off the half pipe and then go into a manual and stuff. That wasn't in the first game. So
Yeah.
just
I remember that
quality
being
of life things that have stayed through the series came in Tony Hawk's 2.
Yeah.
Plus, it got School 2, which is one of the best maps in my opinion.
Isn't that School Tool the one that ended up in all the other ones?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Basically.
It's that one that they always reuse in any sort of Tony Hawk's game when they want a bit of nostalgia. They wheel it out, basically. So there's not much you can say. Like I say, it's Tony Hawk's. You know what it is. If you like skateboarding, you like amazing
we
music.
gave Tony Hawk's a good talk in like the Activision
yeah,
episode.
Exactly. I mean, I think we're going to have to do an episode where we don't talk about PlayStation one day because I feel like we're going to eventually repeat ourselves to the max on some of these games. But yeah, if you want to know more about Tony Hawk's and what we think about it, watch the Activision video. We do cover it quite a lot. Obviously, it's one of Activision's big titles. With Activision being purchased by Xbox, we did like the last episode totally on that. So check that episode out if you haven't already. And we're going to go into the final stretch, Alistair. Are you ready? This is your one. And I am ready for this. And I've got a video for it. It's going to blast out with music, though, because I haven't muted it. You ready?
Yeah. Yes!
There you go.
That's so dumb. So bad. This game is so bad.
So it is Star Wars Demolition. So tell the people at home, what is Star Wars Demolition?
So let me tell you kids, back when PlayStation 1 was a thing, they thought car combat was sick as fuck. And they were wrong, but they put it on everything. And Star Wars wanted some of it. So they made a Star Wars based car combat game called Star Wars Demolition. And it is janky as hell and so dumb and so much fun. Yeah, you could literally like 2-hit KO in this game if you knew what you were doing with the right character. Technically, you could 1-hit KO if you were this chick.
Oh, it was a good game. I loved it. There was a lot of characters. So the plot was it does have a plot actually.
It does, yeah, it does.
Even with the advent of the Galactic Empire, Jabba the Hutt continued to prosper through his illegitimate operations on Tatooine. Always looking to gather more wealth, Jabba devised an even deadlier sport to replace the outlawed pod racers. Some chose to take part in the events of their own will, but many were forced into participation by the crime lord. There you go. Look at that. And yeah, basically, it's a selection of Star Wars characters, and some of these are really weird, just thrown in random vehicles and stuff, and they just fight to the death, basically. So you've got a guy walking around on a Rancor.
Yeah, he was unlockable. He was like one of the last characters to be able to be unlocked, and his super was a grab attack. In which he would pick up the vehicle and just smash it on the ground. He was pretty okay. He wasn't the worst. The worst was the snow speeder by a landslide.
Yeah, so apparently that had Tia and Gia. I don't know who Tia and Gia are.
Yeah, the twins, yeah.
They drive the snow speeder.
Yeah, and the Snowspeeder had as its special the legendary like hook shot. But
Yeah.
as of the movie, it shot from the back, so you could never tell when you were actually going to hit anything because you couldn't reverse look in the game.
Yeah, it
You
was
just had to
terrible.
you just had to hope to dear God you were targeting correctly. It was a ball ache to do their like mission quests. But yeah, there were certain characters in this game that were just broken beyond this belief. The lass here on the speeder bike, who's
Yeah,
an
Aura
actual
Singh.
the bounty hunter who's in like Clone Wars actually. Like she's actually like prominently within the Star Wars universe. Her ricochet shot, if you lined it up right in certain bits of the map, could literally destroy like one person outright without even trying. It was so broken as a super.
Yeah, wasn't at the time though. She'd just been in episode 1 had come out, and she was basically just stood there watching the pod racing, like in the background, if I remember correctly, in the films. So this was
Yeah,
like the first time they really featured her in anything other than she might have been in the comics and books, but like in media, like watchable media, playable media. This was the first time she got featured.
yeah,
But
she
there was
was.
all sorts. It was crazy.
Yeah, you had her. You had Boba Fett, very famously being in this game, playable in this game. I think it's like one of his first playable appearances, actually.
As
Like
himself, with
as
no
himself,
vehicle, he just was flying
it's
around.
just himself. It was so stupid. He was so small. He was like so broken because his hitbox was so tiny. You could barely hit him, and his super was his backpack missile, which did shit tons of damage. So
Yeah,
fun. You had like the droid speeder, which was a ton of fun because it was so fast.
yeah,
You had the tank. You had the droid tank, which was just so good.
yeah. There was Darth Maul with his little Sith bike.
Oh yeah, Darth Maul with his Sith bike. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and you
think he
also
was
had that.
unlockable.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the later ones.
Yeah,
There was Lobot with the Cloud car. That's that guy from the Cloud City.
yeah.
Like just the weirdest people.
You also had not Luke Skywalker in his
Land
sand
Speeder.
speeder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
land
Sand
speeder.
Speeder. There was a knockoff.
He's actually a Jedi. Like his
Yeah,
end video shows him to actually be a Jedi, and I was just like, wait, what?
there was like a knockoff Sebulba in a pod racer, but who turns out he's actually the
Yes,
grandson of Sebulba. I didn't
yeah.
realize he was really, but
His
they just
super
threw
was
all sorts of stuff
pretty
in.
okay actually. His super allowed him to like basically hit like basically go into just hyper speed. So if you got someone lined up against the wall and you just press that, you could just crush them instantly. The ATT, as you can see here, which was a nightmare to actually play with. Yeah, I remember. If I remember,
Yeah.
it was an absolute nightmare to actually handle. But it was so. This game was so fun.
I liked how you could move these chess pieces. We used to
You
faff
could,
about.
you
You shot
could.
the
I
chess
think.
pieces around. There was lots of interactive things in the levels. I give them credit
Yeah,
for that.
I think at one point we did try to have a match of chess,
Yeah, it
but
was
the
stupid.
AI kept messing us up. So we're just like, screw it. We had to kill the AI before we could even have a match. But yeah, like there was a ton of like where like it was that. I swear there was other stuff like you could interact with like on hard. You could blow up the
The
shield generators,
Yeah.
the gun turret. You could blow up. You could interact with like the doors.
Wasn't there the
Uh,
Sarlacc pit in one of them?
Yes, that you had the Sarlacc pit. You had the infamous Sarlacc pit that you could
There
send
was all
people in.
sorts, wasn't there? But there was different stages. So there was Tatooine, Hoth, Naboo, Death Star 2, Dagobah, Tatooine, Yavin 4, and Cloud City, which there was a big selection. You also picked up weapons from these droids running around, so you could get like a tractor beam, proton torpedoes, thermal detonators, concussion missiles, and stuff like that. And you could pick up these little droids that like give you an advantage as well.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah. The
like I say, it
droids.
even had cutscenes. Look at this; it's got cutscenes and all sorts of stuff. It's like they spent a bit of money on it. It
Yeah,
was
they
just
really
jank.
put the
Like I
effort
say,
in.
you're going to hear jank a lot, but it was jank. But it was so fun. How many hours did we spend on this? Hours and hours and hours
Oh,
and
me,
hours and
yeah,
hours.
easy hours, easy. I spent so much time. Like this was like prime. We were in prime Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like fan fever back then because it was just like like I said, like episode 1 just came out. We're all hot off of it. like these games were coming out like this in Jedi Power Battle, and it's just like, oh, it's everything I want. I want to play these games because it's just what people wanted. And like like the menu screen was like you actually interacting within Jabba's palace.
Yeah, it was really good. What I did like, there was a mode on it though where you had to bet. You like put stakes down, and if you won, you got all the money basically.
Yeah, because
so
like,
it was the first to get so much cash by betting, basically, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, that's how the game did its unlockables, was through credits. So it's the quickest way to actually get credits was to go into that betting system and just basically win constantly and get big prizes.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I highly recommend it. If you like sort of Vigilante 8 and what's that other one called?
Twisted Metal,
you'll probably enjoy this. And if you like Star Wars, it's just a Star Wars theme slapped on a Twisted Metal game with less like violence. But it's so good. It's so fun. It looks terrible. It doesn't play particularly well, but it is so fun with friends. Not so much on your own.
No,
but with friends,
it's pretty jank. It's just, I don't know. For like the time, like everything just like it handled well enough. It had it had its core ideas and mechanics in the right place. You had your health, you had your energy, you had your shield generators, you had your shield, and everything just kind of like worked well. But there's nothing was balanced particularly against each other well enough, because like just like the proton torpedoes were just outright broken, the missiles were just, they never stopped seeking you, the mines were just dog shit, the tractor beam was funny but not really practical. It just wasn't balanced, but it was not balanced in the best way possible. It was just being broken, which has just made it more fun.
Yeah, totally. I totally know what you were saying. It was so good. I loved it a bit. It's one of my favourites as well. On if you ever dust off your PS1, that is a game I always go
it's like legit.
Well.
Like we're not going to do this for a long time, but like when we, it's like one of my top like 5 PlayStation 1 games without a doubt, because it's just we played so much time, put so much time into it, and it just had a ton of fun stuff to do in it. It felt really good to play.
So we need a new modern gen version. That's what you're saying, in it clearly.
It's what we clearly need. We need a complete remake of it.
Oh, that's amazing. I would play that though day one if that they said
I need
Battle.
I need the Silver
Demolition
Crest
2.
in it. I need the Silver Crest.
That's it.
I need Bando in this.
They'd have what's his face? They'd have that little. They'd have the child in his little thing flying around.
Groot.
You know they would.
Groot is in his N1. Is in Naboo 1. Yeah,
it's just mad. But yeah, that is our sort of top 10 games to 5 each, sort of licensed PS1 games that we remember playing, but also remember Rugrats because we forgot. But Rugrats was really bad.
R.I.P. Rugrats.
R.I.P. Rugrats. You just missed out on this video because we just didn't remember you. Sleep well, Prince. Sleep well.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know in the comments what your favourite PS1 licensed games are. Do you agree with some of ours? Do you think our choices are absolute dogger? Let us know. And we'll just ignore you because our choices are right. But if you have liked this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, please share it out. Like I say, let people know about us. It does help the channel grow. And a big thank you to Alistair for joining me again and suffering through this episode's many issues we've had to get here.
But, it's a pleasure.
The watchers aren't even going to know. It's going to be so smooth the way I cut it that they'll not even realise all the issues we've had. But yeah, hopefully we'll have another episode soon. It won't be as long to the next episode. So hopefully you'll see us on another Wednesday night on the YouTube channel for more retro gaming discussions. We've got some good ideas, haven't we, for future episodes we've been discussing. So you're all in for a fantastic treat.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.